I have a hunch deep down in my gut that something will be said about the Elder Scrolls 6 this year. And not just because it was talked about in a leak about how it's supposedly going to be shown, something's going to be shown this year in 2025. I've already made a video about those leaks. But I wanted to talk about everything we currently know about the Elder Scrolls 6, which is admittedly not that much. So really this is just an excuse for me to talk more about the Elder Scrolls 6, which is my most anticipated game of the future. I know a lot of people aren't very optimistic about it because of the way that Bethesda has done things lately, and again, I've made many videos ranting about Bethesda, so I understand that, but I wanted to just comprehensively put everything we currently know in our brains about the Elder Scrolls 6 in case anybody just wanted it all in one place. So obviously, Elder Scrolls 6 was first announced at E3 in 2018, which was 7 years ago. It's been 7 years since we saw that teaser trailer of the camera panning over this large, generic-looking landscape, and then the Elder Scrolls 6 logo popping up. It's been 7 years since then, and I remember being in my living room watching that trailer at E3 when I think I was 18 years old at the time, and literally freaking out, like screaming, running around, doing laps around my house. Like, I was so excited for that little, like, we didn't see anything of value whatsoever, and I remember being that excited. So imagine if they were to release anything about that game right now. Like, I would genuinely lose my mind. So all the way back then, Todd Howard made the comment that the Elder Scrolls 6 is a long way away because of technological issues, and they didn't have the technology to make the Elder Scrolls 6 that they wanted to make right now. So who knows what that means? Who knows what that entails? Who knows what technology they're referring to and why they would need that technology for a new one? I'm hoping that he's not referring to the reported naval battles thing that they're wanting to do, the shipbuilding and the ship traversal, because again, I talked about that in my Elder Scrolls 6 leaks video. I do not want that to be a major part of the game, and I'm scared that it is going to be, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later. So development progress, news around development progress has been pretty much non-existent in official updates, but Bethesda did clarify in May of 2020 that Elder Scrolls 6 would follow Starfield, which launched on September 6, 2023. So we know for a fact that Bethesda Game Studios' next game will be Elder Scrolls 6. That's not news to anybody. You're probably sitting there right now like, why did I click on this video? Obviously, that's what they're doing. I'm just trying to get everything we know for a fact out of the way. Now, Todd Howard has expressed regret over showing the trailer so early. He's, definitely regretting showing it 7 years ago and then giving us absolutely nothing in the meantime. So yeah, obviously that was not the best decision in the world. I understand he wanted to get people hyped up at the time, but yeah, showing a teaser for the next big Elder Scrolls game and then waiting 7 years to say anything else about it is honestly should have been a crime. Like, arrest Todd Howard. And funnily enough, really the only thing we know for sure will be in the Elder Scrolls 6 is Skyrim Grandma, Shirley Curry, who has posted videos about Skyrim, on YouTube for years and years and years. She's a nice, sweet old lady. She got, face scanned into the game, and she will be an NPC in Skyrim. That's literally that. I think that's so funny that the only thing we know for certain will be in the game is Skyrim Grandma. Like, is that not just the most absurd and hilarious thing you've ever heard? Obviously, platform exclusivity is a big question here because now Bethesda is owned by Xbox, but Xbox is kind of moving away from the whole, exclusive games thing, the whole Xbox exclusive games thing. They're moving Starfield to PlayStation, they're moving Halo to PlayStation, they're moving Gears of War, Forza, basically every Xbox exclusive game is getting moved over to PlayStation. So if I had to guess, if you'd have asked me when they first bought Bethesda, I would say it was going to be Elder Scrolls 6 would have been an Xbox exclusive. But now I think it will definitely be on all platforms, which I think is good. You need to get that game in the hands of as many people as possible. Now, leaks and rumors obviously fuel a lot of the discussion around Elder Scrolls 6 right now because we have such little actual information, and one of the most reliable leakers out there, his name is Ecstasis, and he leaked a lot of the stuff during Starfield's development. that ended up being true. And I mean, I don't know exactly what his sources are or how he gets his information, but he has been right on pretty much everything he's ever reported on. According to Xstasis, the prominent claim is that the setting of the Elder Scrolls 6 will be Hammerfell and High Rock, the two provinces of Hammerfell and High Rock. Personally, I think that's a good idea. I think that's where it needs to be. Hammerfell is a giant, unique province in Tamriel with all kinds of different biomes. It's not just a big desert. They have mountains and the tropics and things of that nature, so it'll be cool to see all those different things. And then High Rock is really awesome as well, very similar to like a Cyrodiil or a Skyrim, where it's a little bit more English architecture inspired. I want to see like Daggerfall the city of Daggerfall. I want to see in a new iteration of it. I want to see how big that city is and how fun it would be to explore that city. So I like the idea of Hammerfell and High Rock being the location, and it seems like right now that's pretty much a foregone conclusion that the game will take place there. And the rest of some of the leaks that we've heard, obviously, is what I talked about with the naval gameplay of like taking Starfield's shipbuilding system and moving it over to the Elder Scrolls 6 with like boats, like big, naval ships, and putting a crew together. Obviously, changing the cannons on your ship, changing the sails and the way it looks, and being able to customize your ship and stuff like that. But what scares me about that idea is if they're going to do all that work with the shipbuilding aspect, that means it's probably going to be a major, if not the main part of the game. And I'm a little concerned about that because I don't really like naval stuff. I don't like ship battle stuff. I don't like that stuff. I don't know. It was cool in Starfield because it's a spaceship, so it was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But the idea of taking that exact same shipbuilding system and the same focus they put on the ship in Starfield, the idea of taking that and putting it into a Elder Scrolls game and making a primary focus of the game be like naval battles and sea battles and like piracy and stuff like that, I'm fine with it if it's like a side quest line. But if it's like part of the main game and it's like a major, unavoidable part of the game, I'm not going to be too happy about that personally. I know some people will like it. Me personally, not my thing. The rest of that leak also in tandem with the shipbuilding and the naval stuff is there's like a lot of underwater exploration, which is like I'm good. I want to explore the land, man. I want to explore the land. I want to find caves and go find cool stuff in those caves and I want to find stuff like that. I don't want to be in the ocean the whole game, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want this to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I don't want this to be Elder Scrolls Black Flag. I want this to be an Elder Scrolls game and feel grounded on the actual ground and not in the ocean. So I could rant about that for a while. I really hope that's not like the main part of the game, or I'm going to be very sad. And then the leak also said that there would be 12 to 13 major cities in the game. There were like 9 in Skyrim, and that's not counting all the like smaller towns and villages that were scattered around the landscape. So 12 to 13 major cities is pretty awesome if that's true. I mean, that's huge. There's so many places to go and so many things to see. And Bethesda does a good job, at least with their Elder Scrolls cities. In Oblivion, the cities were awesome and super impressive and detailed. And then in Skyrim, they were as well. Obviously, there's limitations, and like it's a little unrealistic that there's only like 30 NPCs in a whole city, but maybe they'll change that with Elder Scrolls 6 and there'll be more people walking around. But I love the idea of 12 to 13 major cities in the Elder Scrolls 6. So these are all like semi-verifiable leaks, so this is stuff we can probably anticipate to see in the game, even if it hasn't been officially stated yet. Xstasis is very reliable with this type of stuff, and he says that this is real. Now, past that, there's really nothing concrete to talk about when it comes to the Elder Scrolls 6. There's really nothing else we know, and most of the content we just discussed is just stuff that came out about leaks. The only real verified source of information we have is that Skyrim Grandma is in the game, and I'm not there was no intention of trying to mislead anybody here, but I just wanted to put together a video of everything we know officially, which is not much, and then everything that we know based off semi-verifiable leaks that are probably true. Again, I already made a full video, like 20-minute video about the leaks. If you want a more in-depth description of all the leaks that came out. But yeah, hopefully we will get something new. Obviously, the leaks also said that we would, see something about the game in 2025. And if we see something concrete, if we go by Bethesda's normal, MO, if we see some sort of trailer or gameplay this year, then that means the game will probably come out, I would say, in 2027. That's when I would assume the Elder Scrolls 6 will come out. And that's kind of just gross to think about. We still have to wait 2 more years, because by the time that happens, then it will have been what, 16 years in between Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls 6, which is just honestly unacceptable. And again, I've ranted many times about how long it takes Bethesda to make their games. So yeah, hopefully the time between me recording this video and actually posting this video, hopefully nothing new comes out about the Elder Scrolls 6, because then I'd have to redo it. But honestly, I hope it does. I hope I get to redo it and there's more substantial information to talk about. But anyway, if you like Elder Scrolls content, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the page, or on the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.